Welcome to Color Harmony. My name is Eric Francis. Today, we're going to talk about light. So we make a drawing on canvas based on a reference photo. You give it a number wash, and we're ready to begin. Let's go. So, how are we going to paint light? How are we going to make things look like they're just jumping off the page? That's the question for today. Let's take a look at the reference photo and I'll give you my first tip. The first thing you could do is identify where is the light coming from and how does it affect the object. We see that the light is coming from above and sort of at an angle. You can see the angle because of the angle of the shadows, and you can also see that the whole face isn't showered in light. 3/4 of the face is. Now let's take a look at the sketch I prepared before I did the painting. You notice that on top of the primary light source, there's also a secondary light source. Secondary light source could be anything from reflected light off of something light in the background, maybe a flash, or just the light on somewhere else. A secondary light source can really help round out an object. We're concerned with two different kinds of light, glossy or diffused. Now, glossy light reflects directly back to your eye, and it's like a real hard kind of light. Diffused light kind of shoots off in every single direction, and it's softer. It's easy to identify. Like something is wet, it's automatically glossy. And something, say like wood, is automatically diffused. It's a really matte surface. So when you're looking at the skin and seeing how light reflects off of it, you know, if they're like sweating or something like that, you're gonna get some glossy light. And like when you're painting objects like clothes, they're usually diffused. You know, the highlights aren't really that hard, but there are very hard shapes in clothing. Like if you look at the final painting that I made, the shapes are usually very hard, not very soft. Well, it really depends on the fabric. It's something to keep in mind though. Things that are in the light are usually well defined, while things in the shadow aren't as much. Like the eyes will be more defined than, say, the ears. Let's take a look at a couple of drawings for the purpose of comparing contrast. Look at how the contrast seems to make the thing just jump right off the page at you. Something you have to keep in mind when you're painting. It's easy to see with the drawing, that's why we have the drawing out. And how the soft gradation tones kind of gives the thing form. In this second drawing, it doesn't come out at you as much as the first, because there isn't as much contrast. Even though we're dealing with color, it's the same kind of idea. If the picture that you're painting from has a lot of contrast, it's gonna really pop off the page. Paintings with great contrast appear to have more depth. And because we're dealing with color, there's some certain things we have to understand. Cooler colors, like the blues, seem to recede, while warmer colors, like yellow, they seem to come at you. I chose this painting for no other reason than that wonderful, wonderful smile. Man, you ever find yourself painting something and expressing the emotion in the painting? Like, I was smiling the whole time I was doing this. Big old grin on my face. Gotta keep in mind that this is fun, you know? Have fun with it. Like what you see? Then I'd ask you to do me a favor. Comment, like, share, subscribe, tell your cousins and your mama, everybody about it. There's a link in the description that'll lead you to my blog where you can look at some more of my artwork. And if you want to further support this content, you can donate. There's a button that'll take you to PayPal on the blog. These videos are made in response to questions I get asked all the time, so feel free to ask. Peace.